This is the Wondergram by a company named Baird, B-A-I-R-D, from England, made in England. 1958. This one's in exceptional condition and complete after extensive repair. A few scratches, but in generally in very good shape. And I'll explain what I did in just a moment to get it work. This is a portable, pocket-sized, it was called pocket-sized record player. And we will weigh it here with batteries. 39 ounces. 1100 grams. 2 pounds. 2.5 pounds. 2.5 pounds. So pretty hefty little record player. And this unit is a black plastic case and a metal aluminum material. It's got a push button here to open the lid, and the drive wheels, and I 3D printed 45 RPM adapter. It was missing the adapter, so I designed one and printed it. The battery compartment is right here, and you can hear the unit running when you engage the tone arm. Tone arm has a little lift lever right there to lift up the tone arm to put it on the record. And the spindle doesn't spin, doesn't drive. It's just there for the ride, and we'll explain that in just a minute. Let's put a record on, and we'll see how it works. Let's put this record on. Okay, and I forgot to extend the arms. Let me do that, the legs. Let me extend the legs so we get a better sound, because the speaker's on the back side and pushed into this little carpet would muffle it. So let's stand it up there so you can see it stands up on the carpet. Yeah, there it goes. There's a volume control back here.
Arms will never let me go. Whisper to me softly while the moon is low. Hold me close and tell me what I want to know. Say it to me gently, let the sweet talk flow. Come a little closer, make love to me.
So that album, I don't know when that album was produced.
When our love was new.
illustrate the speed. We'll put the strobe disc on the record, and the inside speed. Let me zoom in here. And point it out. These 3 tracks are for 60 hertz, and this inside one right here, it should be still. It's a little bit slow. You can see it's backing up just a little bit, so that means that the motor's running just barely slow.
Hand it down, 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 hand it down. Got my brother's hat, it's been handed down. Got my brother's tie, it's been handed down. Got my brother's shirt.
Okay, and then we'll illustrate the auto cutoff. When the record gets to the end, it should stop on its own, like that.
Station's almost here, my love. Ting, 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 ting.
That record's pretty badly scratched.
One thing isn't very clear, my love.
And this record, since it's 2 tracks, there's 2 songs, has a little bit less space here at the end. Let me find a record like this one. See how much, there's a single song on this track, and there's all of this dead space. Let's illustrate with that record, probably would work better. We'll get to the end here. And it stops. So that's the auto stop feature, and that's a 45 RPM. Now let's pull a 33 RPM record here. Zoom out. Hymns at Sunset by Ralph Carmichael. You can hear the motor rattling, and that's the motor bearing itself. And it's a little bit noisy. Now we're on the outside track here. Let me zoom in of the stroboscope, and hopefully the shutter is revealing that this is dead on 33 1/3 RPM. You can see it's not moving faster or slower. We're talking about this outside track of the inner 3. You see how stable it is? It's favoring just a little bit fast, which is probably good because when we put the record on, okay, now let's take a look at the side view, and you'll see how the unit actually runs. Okay, we're going down under the record, and you can see the tire right there that's driving the record. And there's the 45 RPM, and it's much lower, so it doesn't drag on the record. But this one right here is the tire that is running the record. And then there's a support tire right there. And then, of course, the spindle. So that's how it works. Pretty simple. And then the weight of the unit, the lid on the record is what keeps it going against the tire. There we go. This is the part set. It actually runs just as well, and it's actually a little quieter. Hear it? Barely hear it running. So I may end up switching the motors. The tone arm has a little bit of damage here, and I'd put a new cartridge in this one. As you can see, it's a new modern cartridge, but it works quite well. And so let's pull the batteries out and take a look at this inside. There's the drive motor. I put a piece of heat shrink on the motor to speed it up. The ratio between the tires and the pulley and the drive speeds it up just a little bit. This one has new transistors in it and several new resistors. The resistors were out of spec on this unit, and so I replaced those. But there you go. It's a 3 transistor amplifier. Got 2 transformers, an input transformer that matches the impedance of the needle. There's the needle wires to the circuit. So it's like a 6K to 80 ohm, 6K to 80 ohm. And then there's a power output transformer here and a push-pull transistors for the amplifier and a preamp right here. So I put new caps in this one, and it's ready to go. And that's it. This idler just rides the motor. The motor slipped off of its ramps here. Here we go. The motor drives the one tire, and then the 33 RPM tire, and then the 45 RPM up inside here. Oh, I've got that backwards. The 45 RPM tire is driven, and then direct shaft to the 33. These volume controls are noisy and raspy, and I drilled a hole in this unit, drilled a hole into the unit so I could actually get some deoxit into the thing. I soaked it and could not get enough in there to get it to quiet down, so I had to drill a tiny little hole in the top of the pot on the other unit there. So this one plays nicely too. It's just not as in good a shape. For example, we can see the base is missing the legs, and it has the springs, and then of course there's some serious breakage right here, and some breakage here. So somebody dropped this thing at one time, but this turned out to be a good part set for me. And so they both work now. This one is not as pretty. Oops. The speaker needs to be re-glued into its double stick tape into its position. There we go. So there we have the Baird Wondergram. There's the Emerson label. I'll show you that up close. And then they had the Baird Wondergram logo Notice the silver and the gold tone. Oh, one other thing. So if you want one of these, I can 3D print you one, or I can send you the file. And that was a pretty simple design. And these don't usually have the rubber feet on them. So you can just put a piece of heat shrink on there. Works beautifully. Piece of heat shrink. We'll put the rubber tip back on. Now we're going to go ahead and swap the motors and make the noisy motor go away. See, I've got the motors pretty well loosened up here. And this is the speed control here. You see this tapered shaft. The farther direction we go this way, the change in the gear ratio or the pulley ratio. So sliding it up this direction makes the record run faster, and sliding it back this direction makes the record run slower. So there's a slight taper on that motor shaft. This is the noisy motor, the one that rattles. So we're going to switch it with this motor right here. This is the quiet motor, and we'll set it right there. We'll have to adjust the speed, and I need to put a new cap on the motor here. I have a new cap on this one, so we'll put that one on the other parts set. Okay, we have a bracket here that straps over the top. Okay, and then we have a cam adjustment screw that pulls this strap down tight. You can still hear the motor running, but it's much quieter. It's not rattling. All right, we'll reassemble this and put the stroboscope on it. All right, we're dealing with this outer ring here. You can see it's moving forward, and it should be solid, should be still. So we need to slow the motor down. We're going to move it this direction so that we change the pulley ratio. Okay, we'll see if that makes a difference. Okay, 45 RPM, the middle one. It's a little bit fast. If we put the needle on the record to see if it slows it down a little bit. Look at that. Just about perfect. Just a little bit fast, but not enough to make a difference. Let's check and see what the 33 RPM looks like. Still a little fast. See it? That track right there. Still a little fast. Let's see what it does when we put the needle on. It's a little bit fast. We'll slow it down just a little bit more. No reason to be perfect on this because this isn't going to play a lot of records, frankly, but just for the giggles on the video, let's get it right on the money. Okay, we've adjusted it. That track right there, 45 is nailed, but we're not on 45 RPM yet. 33 is just a little fast. Check the 45. Just a little bit fast, and it'll probably slow it down when we put the rec needle on. Yeah, almost perfect. We'll close this video out with a little bit of Kurt Kaiser.